Hi, I'm Rhona Sullivan and I'm here in the Conservation Studio at Perth Museum and Art Gallery to talk about our COVID collecting project that we've been working on during the pandemic. The aim of this project is to collect objects and archives that will help tell the story of what happened to us all in this period in the future for researchers and the public. We never know what objects are going to really tell the story in the future, so I'm trying to collect as wide a range of material as possible and get the message across that it's not just big, important objects that will tell this story, it's the little things that help lead us in and tell us what is a global issue on a local scale. So one of the first things that I collected during the pandemic at the very start of lockdown was my son's school shirt. So very quickly in the couple of weeks leading up to lockdown, it became apparent that schools were going to close down and they got a couple of days notice in the end. And so my son, who was in sixth year at the time, only had a couple of days left of his whole school career. So this shirt allows us to tell that story of the schools closing, of the fact they didn't get to sit their exams, the mess that was made with the exam results with the government, and the fact that he then got the results that he wanted and he's now gone off to university. Now, even the university story which we're currently living through, this is the first mass movement of people in Britain since the virus began, and outbreaks have started at many of the university campuses. So just this one small shirt that I picked up off of his bedroom floor the day after he finished school sort of helps us tell that story, and it tells us the story in a very human sort of way that we can all identify with. Kids scribbling on a shirt, spraying silly string on their last day, but it shows how this was happening in a local school, and it starts to let us tell the story of the impact on young people. Another item that I've collected at this time is this face mask, which was worn by my now husband at our wedding in August. We took the decision to get married as a result of lockdown, where we were not allowed to see each other because we lived in separate households. We could never have thought that something like that would happen and we would not be allowed to actually be in the same house as each other, and we thought we didn't want that to ever happen again. So we took the decision to get married, organised it over a few weeks, and we had a socially distanced wedding where the guests, we were only allowed up to 20, and we didn't even have that many because we didn't want to exclude a lot of family and friends, but they had to wear face masks. And so when we were actually saying our vows, we didn't have to wear them because for legal reasons the registrar had to hear what we were saying, so we were allowed to take them off for that period. But this object will help us tell the story in the future about the restrictions and how it impacted on events like funerals and weddings and those things which, I mean, people were not allowed to get married during lockdown, and that is a really strange thing, how it's impacted on us all. We're not just collecting objects, we're also collecting archival material as part of this project. And some of the material that I have here is things like this little pack that was handed out at PRI when people were attending the Coronavirus Assessment Hub if they believed they had coronavirus during the pandemic and during lockdown. People were issued with this paperwork assigned to put on the front of their dashboard on the car because it was all outside and it was all a series of drive-through tents. They were issued with a face mask to wear and then serious instructions as to what to do and if you felt ill after you left. Other archival material that we've collected have been some of the generic information from the government, such as the letters that were posted through all of our doors. Collecting during a pandemic presents its own challenges. We identified the rainbows as something that we wanted to collect quite early on during the pandemic, and we had to ask people to keep them for us because we weren't able to bring these things into the museum at the time, and they were still being used on people's windows to say thank you to NHS and key workers and as a symbol of hope. So children painted these rainbows here, and there are a range of ages from 2.5 up to 12. They're a beautiful sort of thing that happened during lockdown, and so we wanted to collect a small range of them to represent that in the collection. This is an ongoing project. We're very much in the middle of this pandemic, and so I would like everyone to think about everyday objects that they can offer to the museum. We still have a lot of phases that we're going to be going through over the next few months and years. We have to think about how this will affect Christmas for us all, or the vaccination programme that will be happening hopefully next year. So there's all of this, lots of material will be generated, either archival or objects at this time. So it would be good if you want to offer it to the museum and we can collect this story on a local level. One last item I'd like to collect in particular were the handwritten signs that people put in their shops when lockdown happened. These represent the speed at which things were closing down and tell the story of the economy and the impact on local businesses. Many people have since opened their shops and they've thrown these signs away, but if anyone's kept one of those, we'd love to hear from you. So I'd like you all to think about any objects, and if there's something you feel that you want to put into the collection for future generations, please get in touch with us. The details can be found at culturepk.org.uk. Thank you.